For 47 days, Lily Chen had been the closest stranger in my life. Then the elevator dropped. The lights went blood red, and her hand was the only thing keeping mine from shaking apart. We were trapped between the 18th and 19th floors of a downtown Seattle office tower, while a storm knocked out power across 3 blocks. Lily and I had spent 17 years knowing how the other took coffee, lied about being fine, and laughed when things hurt too much to name. Lately, we barely said hello. Yet she had still left our battered yellow umbrella outside my office because she knew I had forgotten mine. She still carried the peppermint gum I chewed when elevators made me anxious, and when the car lurched, she caught my wrist before I hit the floor. 20 minutes later, under the red emergency light, Lily looked at me and whispered, "I'm glad it's you." I should have understood. Instead, I was about to learn how much damage 2 people could do by loving each other badly. If this kind of slow-burn love gets you, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, when does protecting someone become another way of refusing to trust them? The storm had started around 3 that afternoon, the kind Seattle usually handled with an eye roll and a better jacket. By 6, gutters along 5th Avenue were overflowing. By 7, lightning had taken out 2 traffic signals near our building. By 8:13, I was alone on the 27th floor pretending to revise a facilities report I had already revised twice. I was really waiting for Lily to leave. That sentence would have been impossible 6 months earlier. For most of my adult life, leaving work at the same time as Lily was a routine so dependable, it barely counted as a choice. She worked 4 floors below me in brand strategy. I managed workplace operations for the same company. Different departments, same tower, same terrible lobby coffee, same habit of texting each other the second one of us was ready to go. Elevator in 2? Make it 5. I'm stealing printer paper. That is literally theft. Then be my accomplice. For 47 days, nothing. No elevator texts, no photographs of badly designed conference room chairs, no Sunday dumplings in the International District, no showing up at each other's apartments with groceries, and no explanation. Just professional nods if we crossed paths. Sometimes not even those. I shut my laptop at 8:20 and slid it into my bag. The building management screen showed a utility warning, but no full outage. I told myself I was staying because of work, not because Lily usually left around 8. That lie lasted until I stepped into the hallway. Our yellow umbrella was leaning beside my office door. I stopped so abruptly my bag swung into my hip. It was an ugly thing. Mustard yellow nylon, black electrical tape around 2 ribs, a wooden handle with a small burn mark from the time we had tried to toast marshmallows over a camping stove in college and nearly set my sleeve on fire. Lily had bought it when we were 16, and somewhere over the years possession had become irrelevant. It lived wherever one of us was more likely to need it. There was no note. Of course there wasn't. A note would have admitted intention. I touched the handle anyway. Still dramatic, huh? I turned. Lily stood 10 feet down the hallway. Her dark hair was damp around her shoulders, and she wore a charcoal coat over office clothes, one hand wrapped around the strap of her laptop bag. There were tired shadows under her eyes I had noticed every day and never mentioned. She nodded toward the umbrella. I mean the weather. Right. Obviously. Obviously. We had become talented at saying words that meant nothing. I picked up the umbrella. You don't have to keep doing things like this. Her expression barely changed. Leaving umbrellas near people who are about to walk into a flood? You know what I mean. Yes, that was somehow worse. She adjusted the bag on her shoulder. The south stairwell has water coming in under the lobby door. Security told me to use the central elevators. Good to know. I figured you'd still be here. Why? One corner of her mouth moved. Because storms make you think buildings personally need your supervision. They do. Of course they do. There it was. The ghost of us. Gone almost before I recognized it. The elevator arrived with a soft chime. Lily stepped in. I almost said I would take the next one. She must have seen the thought on my face because she raised an eyebrow. Oh, come on, Nora. I didn't say anything. You've been loudly not saying things for 6 weeks, 47 days. The second the number left my mouth, I wanted it back. Lily went still. So you've been counting? I work in operations. We count things. That must be it. I stepped inside. The doors closed. There was enough distance between us to fit another person, maybe 2. Lily pressed the lobby button. Then, without looking at me, she dug into the side pocket of her bag and held out a pack of peppermint gum. I stared at it. What? She asked. You still carry that? You're doing the jaw thing. What jaw thing? The thing where you grind your teeth because you hate elevators when the weather's bad. I don't hate elevators. You once took 11 flights of stairs at a hotel because you heard thunder. That elevator was making a noise. All elevators make a noise. That one sounded untrustworthy. Lily shook the gum once. I took a piece. That was the second thing. The umbrella had been the first. I didn't recognize them as evidence then. I thought habit was just habit, that 17 years of caring for someone could keep moving through your hands long after your heart had supposedly learned to stop. The elevator passed 24, 23, 22. Lily glanced at her phone. 1 bar. Mine's worse. She reached into her bag again and pulled out a power bank. A strip of faded masking tape on the side had 2 letters written in black marker. NC, my initials. I stared. You still have that. You're the one who keeps forgetting to charge your phone. We aren't currently speaking, I noticed. So why are you carrying my battery? Lily finally looked at me. Her eyes were tired and unreadable. Because your phone doesn't know we're mad at each other. That was the third thing. Before I could answer, the building went black. Not dim. Black. The elevator stopped so violently my knees buckled. Emergency lights snapped on a second later, staining the car in a dull red glow. Somewhere beyond the shaft, something boomed. I heard Lily say my name. Then the elevator dropped. It couldn't have been more than a few feet. Maybe less. My body didn't understand measurements. My stomach went weightless, my shoulder struck the wall, and my hand shot out, scraping across the metal edge beside the control panel. Lily hit the opposite side. The car slammed to a stop. For one terrible second, neither of us moved. Then Lily was in front of me. Nora. I'm fine. You're bleeding. I looked down. My palm was open along the base of my thumb, blood bright under the red light. Oh, sit. Lily. Sit down. Something about the old command in her voice got past my pride. I lowered myself against the wall. She crouched and unwrapped the scarf from her neck. You hit your shoulder, I said. It's fine. You're holding it. So are you, apparently. Lily. Nora. We glared at each other. It was ridiculous enough that I almost laughed. She did first, just a breath of sound. It broke something open in my chest. Then she took my injured hand carefully. Her fingers were warm. Mine weren't. You're shaking. Adrenaline. Sure, I know what adrenaline is. You also know what denial is. You have advanced certification. She folded the scarf and pressed it against my palm. Hold that. What about your shoulder? Later. That's not how triage works. It is when I don't trust you not to bleed on your pants and complain about the dry cleaning bill. I obeyed. Lily hit the emergency call button. Static answered, followed by a man's voice, broken but audible. Elevator? Security? Can you hear? Lily leaned toward the panel. Yes, 2 people. Elevator Banksy. We had a sudden drop. Any injuries? 1 cut hand, not severe. Possible shoulder injury. I looked at her. She ignored me. Stay in the car, the guard said. Fire department has been notified. Primary power is down. Backup generator is unstable. Do not attempt the doors. How long? Lily asked. We don't know yet. The connection died. Lily sat beside me, not touching. Close enough that our coats brushed. Rain thudded somewhere beyond the shaft, or maybe it was water moving through the building. I chewed the peppermint gum until my jaw hurt. Lily noticed. Slow down. I am slow. You're chewing like the gum owes you money. Maybe it does. Her hand moved to the floor between us. Palm up. Not quite an offer. Not quite not an offer. I stared at it. Then another boom shuddered through the building. The emergency light flickered. My breath caught. I put my hand in hers. Lily didn't squeeze hard. She just held on. That was worse. Gentleness had always been more dangerous between us than anything else. Look at me, she said. I am looking at you. You're looking approximately 4 inches to my left. I like your left side. Nora. I met her eyes. Breathe in for 4. Don't. 3. I'm serious. 2. I hate you. 1. I inhaled. Hold. You're enjoying immensely. She counted me through 5 breaths. Then 10. She used the same rhythm she had used when we were 19, and I had my first real panic attack in a dorm laundry room after my father called unexpectedly. I had forgotten she remembered. Or maybe I had spent 47 days trying to forget how much she remembered. When my breathing finally slowed, Lily leaned her head against the wall. Her eyes closed. Better? Yes. Liar. Functional liar. I'll take it. We sat in silence, the kind we used to be good at before silence became punishment. I looked at her shoulder. Let me see. No. Lily. It's bruised. You don't know that. I've met bruises. Move your arm. She sighed, then lifted it halfway. Her face tightened. Other direction. Bossy. You started it. She managed the movement. No obvious dislocation. I touched lightly near the top of her shoulder. She sucked in a breath. Sorry, it's okay. My fingers stayed there 1 second too long. We both noticed. I pulled back. The space between us changed. Not much. Enough. Lily reached into her bag for a bottle of water and handed it to me. You drink first. You need it too. I know. Oh, so drink. Nora. I'm not taking the only water. It is 1 bottle, not the last canteen in the desert. Then prove your confidence. She gave me the look she used to give me when I was being deliberately impossible, took a small sip, and handed it over. Happy? No. You never are. That isn't true. The words came out sharper than I intended. Lily's expression closed. There it was again. The wall. I hated how quickly we could rebuild it. I didn't mean... I know. That should have helped. It didn't. Another 10 minutes passed. My phone had no signal now. Lily's had enough to show a flood warning and 3 messages that wouldn't load. Security said, "Fire department," I said. Yeah. They'll get us out. Yeah. Eventually. That is usually how rescue works. I looked at her. Can you stop being funny when you're scared? She turned to me. Can you stop pretending you're not? Fair. She leaned her head back. The emergency light made her face look unfamiliar, all red shadows and tired angles. Then she said, very quietly, I'm glad it's you. I forgot the elevator. Forgot my hand. Forgot the storm. What? Lily didn't look at me. If I had to get stuck. With someone. Yeah. That's a strange thing to say to a person you haven't voluntarily spoken to in 47 days. I've spoken to you. You asked me for the Q4 occupancy report. I said, please. Romantic. Her mouth twitched. Then it disappeared. I mean it. The joking part of me, the part that had protected us for years, reached for something easy. Nothing came. Why? Lily turned her face toward me. Because even when I'm furious with you, I know what you do in emergencies. What do? You get useful. That is the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. It's not entirely a compliment. Story of my life. You make lists, you check doors, you find exits, you remember who hasn't eaten. You pretend you're not scared until everyone else is okay. Again, very flattering. And then you go home alone and fall apart where nobody can see. The joke died in my throat. Lily looked down at our hands. Somewhere along the way, we had started holding them again. I'm glad it's you because I know that part too, she said. I swallowed. You don't get to say things like that. Her eyes sharpened. I don't get to. Not after 6 weeks of looking through me? I was angry. You still are. Yes. Then be angry. I am. Good. I can be angry and still care whether you survive an elevator. Very generous. She pulled her hand away. I immediately regretted it. Nora, do you hear yourself? Unfortunately, you turn everything into a joke when it gets close to something real. You're one to talk. Her shoulders stiffened. There it was. A door. And because we were physically trapped inside another one, apparently I decided to kick this one open. You kissed me once, I said. Silence. The words hung between us. Lily's face changed so completely I knew I had hit the place we had both been circling for years. Nora. 7 years ago. I know when. I stared at her. You know? Her jaw tightened. Of course I know. A cold feeling moved through me. It had been 3 days after her mother's funeral. We were 22. Lily had barely slept. I had been staying at her father's house in Bellevue, making coffee, answering texts, organizing casserole dishes because grief apparently generated an astonishing number of casserole dishes. At 2 a.m, we sat on the kitchen floor. She cried into my shoulder. Then she looked at me and kissed me. Not a friendly kiss. Not accidental. Slow, shaking, devastating. I kissed her back, for maybe 5 seconds. Then she pulled away and whispered, I can't lose you too. The next morning, when I tried to talk about it, Lily stared at her coffee and said, I barely remember last night. Can we not make it weird? So we didn't. We became better at not making things weird than most people became at marriage. You told me you didn't remember, I said. Lily looked miserable. I lied. Why? Because my mother had been dead for 3 days. I know. I had just spent 8 months watching someone I loved disappear by inches. My dad couldn't look at her coat without crying. I was sleeping 2 hours a night. I didn't know which feelings belonged to grief and which belonged to me. So you decided none of them counted? I decided I couldn't survive losing you next. You said you didn't remember. Yes. I spent years believing I kissed my grieving best friend when she wasn't thinking clearly. Lily's eyes closed. I know. No, you don't. I do. You let me believe I crossed a line with you. I never thought you crossed a line. Well, I did. She went pale. Nora, I never... My dad left when I was 14, Lily. I know. My mother spent 5 years telling me love made people reckless, that needing someone gave them a map of where to hurt you. Then you kissed me and took it back before breakfast. I didn't take it back. You erased it. The words hit harder than I intended. Lily looked away. For several seconds, the only sound was the soft whine of emergency power. Then she said, "You're right. I wasn't prepared for that." She looked back at me. I was scared, and I made you carry the meaning of it by yourself. That wasn't fair. My anger lost its shape. "I thought you were relieved," she added. "Relieved? When I said we should forget it." I left the room because I thought I might throw up. That looked a lot like relief from where I was sitting. I almost laughed, but there was nothing funny about the years between those two interpretations. "You know what I thought?" Lily asked. "What?" "I thought I had ruined the one relationship in my life that hadn't asked me to become someone else. You hadn't. You didn't touch me for 6 months, I remembered. I had trained myself not to. No casual arm around her shoulders. No falling asleep against each other during movies. No absent-minded hand at the small of her back in crowded rooms. I had called it respect. Maybe some of it had been punishment. I was trying to give you space. You were giving me a continent." I looked down. "Maybe I didn't know the difference. That seems to be our specialty." The words should have sounded bitter. They sounded tired. The speaker crackled. "Elevator C, occupants, respond." Lily leaned forward. "We're here. Fire department is on site. We have water intrusion in the lower electrical room. Elevator crews are working from the machine level. You're secure, but extraction may take time." "How much time?" I asked. "Possibly another hour." Lily closed her eyes. The speaker clicked off. "Fantastic," she muttered. "You have somewhere to be?" She let out a humorless laugh. Actually, something in the word caught me. I waited. Lily rubbed her good hand over her knee. "What?" I asked. "Nothing." "Lily?" "Don't. You just made that face." "What face?" "The one you make before you tell me something I won't like. You are not currently qualified to criticize facial expressions." "Fair." She stayed quiet. I looked at the cardboard mailing tube clipped to the side of her laptop bag. I had noticed it earlier without registering it. Now I saw the shipping label. Boston. My stomach tightened. "You're leaving." Lily froze. I didn't need an answer anymore. "When?" "Nora." "When?" "Friday after next. 10 days. I stared at her. "For a trip?" "No." The floor might as well have dropped again. "The Holloway job?" She looked surprised. "You knew about it?" "I knew they approached you last year. They came back." "And you accepted?" "Yes." "When?" 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks into our silence. "You were going to tell me?" "Yes." "When?" "From Logan Airport?" "That isn't fair." "No, what's unfair is finding out because your mailing tube has a Massachusetts address. I was trying to find a time. We used to have time every day. Then you called my boss behind my back." There it was. The real reason for the 47 days. Not the kiss. Not Boston. Not even 17 years of feelings with no proper name. 6 weeks earlier, Lily had been leading the biggest account of her career. She was also sleeping badly, skipping meals, and dealing with the end of an engagement that had lasted long enough for everyone around her to think it was permanent. One Tuesday night, I found her in a conference room at 11:30 with trembling hands, a half-finished presentation, and a paper cup of coffee she had forgotten to drink. She said she was fine. I didn't believe her. So I called Sam Ortega, her department head, without telling her. I told him Lily was burned out and needed to be temporarily removed from the launch presentation. I thought I was buying her 48 hours. Sam reassigned the account. Lily lost the lead credit attached to it. And because our company was in the middle of promotion decisions, the reassignment became a question in her review. I had known all of that might happen. I did it anyway. "I thought you were going to collapse," I said. "I know what you thought. You hadn't slept. I know. You had a panic attack. I know what happened to me, Nora. I was there. I was scared. So you made a decision about my career. I was trying to protect you." Lily laughed once. The sound cut. "There. That's the sentence." "What sentence? The one you keep hiding behind?" I didn't answer. She turned toward me. "When my mother got worse, my dad and her doctor waited 4 days to tell me because I had finals." I knew. Of course I knew. Lily had been 21. Her mother had asked them not to call until Lily finished exams. By the time Lily flew home, her mother was sedated and never fully woke again. Lily had carried that wound like a shard under the skin ever since. I had sat beside her on the bathroom floor after the funeral, while she said, over and over, everybody decided what I could handle. And I had promised her something. The memory arrived with brutal clarity. "I will never do that to you." Lily looked at me. "You knew." My throat tightened. "Yes. You were the one person who knew exactly why it mattered. I know. And you did it anyway. I know. The third I know broke me. Not because she was cruel, because she wasn't. She wasn't shouting. She wasn't simplifying it. She was giving me the truth without cushioning it." I stared at the scarf around my hand. "My dad left in the middle of a Tuesday," I said. Lily's expression shifted. "Nora." "No, I'm not saying that as an excuse." I forced myself to continue. "He packed while I was at school. My mother had no idea he was going. At least that's what she told me. Afterward, everything in our house became something I had to anticipate. Bills, groceries, whether she was going to get out of bed, whether my little brother had lunch money. If I could see a problem early enough, maybe nothing else would disappear." Lily listened. I couldn't tell if she wanted to. I kept going anyway because the apology I owed her could not be built out of comfortable pieces. I made being useful into a personality. "That isn't news. Let me finish." She nodded. "When I saw you in that conference room, I wasn't thinking, what does Lily want? I was thinking, how do I stop the bad thing before it happens?" My voice shook. "I wasn't protecting you." Lily looked at me. I made myself say it correctly. I was protecting myself from having to watch someone I love fall apart. Neither of us moved. "I made your crisis about my fear," I said. "Then I used how well I know you as permission to take your choice away." Lily's eyes filled. She blinked hard. "That," she whispered, "is the first apology you've actually given me." Pain went through me because she was right. I had apologized before. I had said I was sorry Sam misunderstood. I was sorry the project got reassigned. I was sorry she was hurt. All passive constructions. All ways of standing beside the wreckage while pretending I had merely witnessed the accident. "I am sorry," I said. "I believe you." The hope that rose in me was immediate and stupid. Lily saw it. "No." I went still. I said, "I believe you're sorry. That's not the same as everything being okay." "I know. I don't know if I trust you with the parts of my life you think you can fix." That hurt more than anger. Probably because I had earned it. "You shouldn't," I said. Lily frowned. "Not yet." She looked away. We sat with that. Not forgiveness, not rejection. Something harder. Reality. Then the elevator jerked. Not a full drop this time. A violent sideways shudder, followed by a metallic crack somewhere above us. Lily grabbed the rail. The red light blinked out. Darkness swallowed the car. "Nora?" "Here." Her voice changed on that one word. Most people heard Lily's calm and assumed it was natural. I knew better. Calm was something she built when panic threatened to make decisions for her. I fumbled for my phone and turned on the flashlight. The battery showed 12%. "Yours?" I asked. 34. Use yours. Mine stays off unless we need it." She did not argue, which scared me more than if she had. The beam caught dust drifting through the air. Then I smelled something sharp. Burned plastic. Lily smelled it too. Her eyes widened. "Is that smoke? Maybe electrical insulation. That is smoke with a resume." I moved to the panel and pressed the call button. Nothing. Again, nothing. I tried the alarm. No response. Lily stood too quickly and winced from her shoulder. "Sit down." "I'm not sitting down if the elevator is on fire. It's not on fire. You just said electrical insulation." I said maybe. "You only say maybe when the real answer is bad." "That is not true." She stared at me. "Fine. It is occasionally true." The smell strengthened. I knew enough about the building systems to understand the danger without understanding the specific failure. A stalled car in a wet shaft during unstable backup power was not something I could solve from inside. That was the problem. My entire nervous system had been built around solving. I checked the doors, the ceiling panel, the emergency phone, then checked them again, as though repetition could produce an exit. Lily watched me. "Nora, I'm checking." "You checked." "I know, so stop. I need to know whether the smoke is in the car or the shaft." "And can you know that from pacing in a 6-foot box?" I turned on her. "Would you rather I do nothing?" The second I said it, I saw her flinch. Not from the volume, from the meaning. There were two kinds of nothing in my vocabulary: helplessness and trust. I had spent years confusing them. I closed my eyes. "Sorry." Lily's voice was quieter. "You don't have to save us by yourself. I know." "Do you?" Before I could answer, a grinding sound rolled through the shaft. The car dropped again, this time farther. Lily screamed. The floor seemed to vanish beneath us. I threw my good arm around her waist and hit the wall hard enough to see white sparks behind my eyes. Something in the ceiling crashed. Lily's phone flew from her hand, struck the floor, and went dark. Then we stopped. Hard. My teeth snapped together. For a moment, I heard nothing but my own pulse. Then Lily made a small sound against my shoulder. "Lily." No answer. Panic came so fast it felt clean. "Lily." She was still upright because I was holding her, but her body had gone slack. I lowered us to the floor. "Lily, open your eyes." Nothing. I touched her face. Warm, breathing. I found her pulse with fingers that did not feel like mine. Too fast, but there. "Come on," I whispered. "Come on, Lily." Her eyelids fluttered. She inhaled sharply and looked at me without recognition for half a second. Then it came back. "Nora, I'm here. What happened?" "You passed out." "I did not." "You absolutely did." "That's embarrassing." Relief hit me so violently I laughed once and then almost cried. Lily noticed. "Hey, I'm fine. That phrase has officially lost all meaning." I checked her head for a bump. "Any neck pain?" "No." "Headache?" "Headache. A little. Nausea?" "No." "Vision okay?" "You have 2 noses." My heart stopped. Then she smiled weakly. "You're not funny. I disagree." I exhaled so hard my whole body shook. The emergency speaker crackled back to life. "Elevator C? Respond." I nearly crawled to it. 2 occupants. We had another drop. 1 person briefly lost consciousness. The guard's voice sharpened. "Do not move unless necessary. The brake system engaged, but we had a secondary power failure. Fire department is preparing an extraction from the nearest landing. How long? 15 to 20 minutes if the car stays stable." "If," Lily repeated. I shot her a look. The guard continued. "You are secured now. Stay low and remain calm." The connection cut. Lily looked at me. "Remain calm." Great advice. Why didn't we think of that? I sat beside her. The burned plastic smell began to fade. Probably a relay or cable outside the car. Probably. Lily leaned her head against my shoulder because sitting upright hurt hers. I let her. After a minute, she said, "You can tell me now." "What?" "The thing you were going to say before." My chest tightened. "Lily, we might be out in 20 minutes, exactly." "And? You told me not to confess something huge because we were trapped in a dark elevator. That was before the elevator tried to murder us a second time." I almost laughed. Then I understood what she was doing. Fear had made honesty feel urgent to her, too. I took a breath. "No." She lifted her head slightly. "No? You were right the first time." Her face shifted. "I don't want the elevator to make this decision for us," I said. "I don't want you wondering later whether I said it because I thought we might die. And I don't want you to answer because you're scared." Lily studied me in the dim light. "That sounds suspiciously healthy. Don't get used to it." Her mouth softened. Then she rested her head against me again. "Okay." We waited. There were voices above us after 9 minutes. Metal striking metal. Commands echoing down the shaft. The car shivered once, and Lily's hand found mine immediately. I looked at our fingers. "Still glad it's me?" She didn't look up. "Ask me when we're not trapped." The doors were forced open 18 minutes later. The elevator had stopped about 4 feet below the 19th floor. Firefighters secured the car and lowered a short ladder. A firefighter leaned down through the opening. "We're taking the injured passenger first." Lily pointed at me. I pointed at her. He looked between us. "Which one is injured?" "Yes," I said. Lily laughed, then winced. They took her first because of the fainting and shoulder pain. I steadied her from below while a firefighter pulled her through the opening. The second she disappeared over the edge, I experienced an irrational flash of panic so strong I almost called her name. Then her face appeared again above the opening. "I'm right here," she said. She had known. Of course she had. I climbed out next. The hallway was full of emergency lights, wet boots, radios, and people with reflective jackets. It should have felt chaotic. Instead, everything seemed impossibly bright and ordinary. Lily sat against the wall with a blanket around her shoulders. I dropped beside her. A paramedic checked my hand while another shined a light into Lily's eyes. "Emergency contact?" the paramedic asked her. Lily answered without looking at me. "Nora, Bennett." I went still. The paramedic glanced up. "That you?" "Yes." He wrote it down. Lily stared at the floor. "You never changed it," I said quietly. She gave me a tired look. "I was mad, not stupid." The sentence lodged somewhere under my ribs. We were taken to urgent care because Lily had briefly lost consciousness, and my hand needed stitches. In the rideshare, she sat on my right so I could keep my injured hand away from her shoulder. She held the ice pack for 12 minutes, then silently handed it to me when she saw me flexing my fingers. I held it against my palm until she winced. Then I gave it back. The driver watched us in the mirror. "You two sisters?" he asked. "No," we said at the same time. "Roommates?" "No." He nodded slowly, as though the answer had confirmed something. Neither of us asked what. At urgent care, Lily filled out half my intake form because writing hurt. I opened her water bottle because lifting her arm hurt. She corrected the nurse when I described my pain as a 2. I corrected her when she called hers a 3. We were apparently able to resume a 17-year relationship in medical bureaucracy before we could resume it emotionally. My hand needed 5 stitches. Lily had a shoulder contusion and mild concussion symptoms, but no fracture. At 11:40, we stood beneath the clinic awning while rain silvered the street. Lily opened the yellow umbrella. One taped rib immediately folded backward. We both stared at it. "Perfect," I said. "It has character. It has structural failure. You've been insulting this umbrella for 17 years, because it's been broken for 16. She adjusted the bent rib. "You were broken when I bought it." The humor left my face. She seemed to realize what she had said, but she didn't take it back. I remembered that afternoon. I was 16. My father had left a note for my mother, and nothing for me. I walked out of school in a rainstorm without a coat because going home felt impossible. Lily followed me for 6 blocks. She did not ask what was wrong. She did not tell me everything would be okay. She walked beside me until we were soaked, then dragged me into a drugstore and spent $12 on the brightest umbrella they had. Outside, she opened it and said, "I'm not asking you to go home. I'm just not letting you get pneumonia while you decide." That had been Lily's gift all along. Presence without ownership. I had confused the two. "I'm sorry," I said. Her face tightened. "For the umbrella? For learning the wrong lesson from you?" She looked at me for a long moment. A car hissed through rainwater at the curb. "My ride's here," she said. "Of course it was." She held out the umbrella. "Take it. You need it. My car is 15 feet away. Your apartment lobby is another 20 from the curb. Nora, you'll get wet. I'll survive." There was the word. Survive. We both heard it. I took the umbrella. "Lily." She waited. "I'll tell you tomorrow." "Tell me what?" "The thing you told me not to say in the elevator." Her mouth parted. "Not because you owe me an answer," I said. "And not because I expect you to stay." She went very still. "I just don't want fear making another decision for me." Her eyes went bright. "Okay," she said. Then she got into the car. I stood under the yellow umbrella and watched the taillights disappear into the rain. I did not sleep. At 8 the next morning, I asked Sam for a meeting. I told him exactly what I had done. No softening. No, I was worried. I told him Lily had never asked me to intervene, had never authorized me to speak for her, and had been capable of presenting the account. My call had created a false impression about her judgment. Sam leaned back. "You understand correcting this may create an HR issue for you?" "Yes." "And you still want it documented?" "Yes." He restored Lily's lead credit, amended the performance note, and reported my boundary violation. I received a formal warning. I emailed Lily once. I corrected the record. "Sam will contact you directly. The warning I received is appropriate. You do not need to answer this. I am not doing it so you will forgive me. I am fixing the part of the damage I can fix." "At 1:17, she replied. He called. "Thank you." That evening, I stood outside her apartment with the yellow umbrella. I had taken it to a repair shop near Pike Place. The bent rib had been replaced. The torn strap was stitched. The black tape was gone. Lily opened the door and stared at it. "You fixed it." only because it consented. Her eyes lifted to mine. I held it out. This belongs to you. It belongs to both of us. I love you, I said. No crisis, no dark elevator. Just a hallway, and the woman I had loved so long, the truth felt less like revelation than finally saying my own name correctly. I loved you when we were 16, except I didn't know what it was. I loved you when you kissed me after your mother's funeral. I loved you through every bad date, every terrible haircut, every version of us that pretended friendship was the whole story. Lily's eyes filled. I love you too, she whispered. My heart stopped. Then she raised a hand. But I can't say yes. I did not move. Love isn't the question, she said. Trust is. I know you can show up in an emergency. I don't know yet whether you can stand beside me when I make a choice you hate. Boston sat between us without needing to be named. You should go, I said. Her face crumpled slightly. Don't make it easy. It isn't easy. It hurts like hell. Good. Good. You know what I mean. I did. I'm not asking you to stay, I said, and I won't follow you unless you ask. She studied me, as though waiting for the hidden argument. There wasn't one. 9 days later, Lily flew to Boston. I did not go to the airport. I returned the spare key to her building manager because access was not the same as trust. I stopped asking mutual friends for updates. I started therapy and never told her as evidence that I was changing. Trust returned slowly. A photograph, a phone call, one honest boundary at a time. 4 months later, Lily invited me to Boston. Not because she needed rescuing. For a date. It rained sideways. Our restaurant lost the reservation. The yellow umbrella flipped inside out on Tremont Street, and Lily laughed so hard she had to grab my coat. We ate sandwiches in a bookstore cafe instead. Near closing, she asked, Are you going to kiss me? You said not to rush you. I am actively asking. Just confirming. Nora. I kissed her. Slowly, deliberately. No grief, no emergency, no fear deciding for us. 7 months after the elevator, Lily came to Seattle for a 2-week work rotation. On a rainy Saturday, we carried groceries into my building beneath the repaired yellow umbrella. A new black strap hung from its handle. 2 tiny words were embroidered on it. Still here. The elevator doors opened. I hesitated. Lily did not tease me. Stairs? She asked. I looked at the car, then at her. She was not the person who could keep bad things from happening to me. I was not that person for her either. Thank God. I stepped inside. She followed. At the 7th floor, her fingers brushed mine. Not grabbing, not rescuing, an invitation. I took her hand. She leaned against my shoulder. You know, she said, if this one gets stuck, I'm eating the frozen dumplings first. Excellent emergency planning. She smiled, then looked up at me. I'm glad it's you. This time, the words did not sound like something whispered, because we might not get another chance. They sounded ordinary. Safe enough to be ordinary. I kissed her temple. Me too. The elevator reached my floor. We carried the groceries home while the yellow umbrella dried by the door. Repaired, not new, its little still here strap resting against the floor. For the first time in my life, staying did not mean preventing someone from leaving. It meant knowing she was free to go and being grateful that, on an ordinary rainy day, she chose to come home beside me.